You're sitting in your car, parked outside your apartment. The engine's off, but your mind? It's still running. Phone buzzing with notifications. That email you didn't answer. That comment from your boss you can't stop replaying. You're dissecting it over and over, like it'll change something. It doesn't. You're tired. Not just from the day, but from the noise. The world's loud, but the loudest part? It's in your head. You scroll X, see someone's perfect life, and wonder why yours feels like a mess. You want to react, to fix it, to say something that makes it all make sense. But what if the smartest thing you did right now was to say nothing at all? To just pause. This is Stoic Simple. 7 things an intelligent man never says. Not to be perfect, not to win at life, but to find a little calm in the chaos. If this feels like you, leave a quiet sign below. Not for me, not for likes, just so someone else, lost in their own noise, finds this moment to breathe. Let's keep it simple. 1. I already know that. You're in a meeting. Your coworker's pitching an idea, something about streamlining a project. You've heard it before, or at least you think you have. Your mind's already checked out. You lean back, ready to say it. I already know that. It feels good, doesn't it? Like you're in control. Like you're ahead. Buurtpose. What's that really saying? That you've got nothing left to learn? That you're done growing? I've been there. A few years back, I was working with a guy named Alex. Older, quiet, the kind of person who didn't speak unless he had something worth hearing. We were troubleshooting a campaign that wasn't landing. He started explaining a tactic, one I'd used a dozen times. I cut him off. Yeah, I know that already. He didn't argue, just nodded and moved on. Later, I realized he wasn't explaining the tactic. He was sharing a twist, a small shift I'd never considered. Something his years of grinding had taught him. I missed it, because I was too busy proving I knew. The Stoics got this. They said the ego, our need to seem smart. It's a wall we build ourselves. It feels like strength, but it's just pride. An intelligent man knows better. He listens. Not to humor someone, but to understand. Because even in the familiar, there's always something new. A detail, a perspective, a crack of light you didn't see before. I think about Alex sometimes. How he never needed to prove he knew. He just listened. And that made him someone worth hearing. Next time you feel that urge to say, I know. What if you didn't? What if you stayed open? Just a little longer. What might you hear in the silence? 2. That's impossible. You're at your desk, staring at a pitch. A client wants something big, something risky. Your first thought? That's impossible. It's not even a thought, really. It's a reflex. A shield you throw up to protect yourself from failure, from the unknown. I used to work with a freelancer named Jake. Sharp guy, always juggling 10 projects. Someone suggested he pivot, try a new platform, a new niche. His answer? That's impossible. I'm too deep in this game. He wasn't wrong. It would have been hard. A lot of work, a lot of risk. But every time he said it, he wasn't just shutting down the idea. He was shutting down himself. The Stoics saw this trap. They said it's not the obstacle that stops you, it's how you see it. That's impossible isn't about the world. It's about your fear. Fear of failing, of looking dumb, of starting over. But here's the thing. What feels impossible is often just you and familiar. A few years ago, I took on a project that felt like a stretch. Tight budget, brutal deadline, a team that barely knew each other. Everything in me screamed, this can't work. But instead of saying it, I asked myself, what's one thing I can do today? Just one small step. I made a call, set up a meeting, laid out a plan. Step by step, it came together. Not perfect, but done. An intelligent man doesn't say impossible. He says, what's next? He knows strength isn't in seeing the whole path. It's in taking the first step. So when that big idea hits, or that scary challenge lands, don't shut it down. Ask yourself, What's one move I can make right now? You'd be surprised how many impossible things start to look possible. 3. That's not my fault. You're in a team chat. The project tanked. Everyone's pointing fingers. Your instinct? That's not my fault. It feels right. The client changed their mind. Your coworker missed a deadline. The market's a mess. Why should you take the hit? But hold on. Every time you say that, you're giving something away. Your power. I knew a guy, Mark, ran a small content agency. He lost a big client once. A real gut punch. He spent weeks explaining why it wasn't his fault. The client was picky. The team didn't deliver. The budget was too tight. All true, sort of. But while he was busy defending himself, he missed the chance to learn, to grow, to get better. The Stoics were clear. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond. Saying, "That's not my fault," it's like handing the keys to someone else. You're saying, "Fix it for me." But when you own even a small piece, you take back control. I've done this. A pitch I led once, it flopped. I could have blamed the data, or the team, or the client's mood. Instead, I admitted I didn't prep enough. I didn't ask the right questions. It wasn't the whole problem, but it was my part. And owning it, it changed how I worked. Ik got sharper, clearer, stronger. An intelligent man doesn't dodge blame. He asks, what can I do differently? Not to feel bad, but to grow. Next time something goes wrong, before you point out there, look in here. What's one thing you could own? One thing you could shift? It's not about fault. It's about freedom. The freedom to shape what comes next. 4. I don't need help. You're up late, staring at your laptop. A deadline's looming. Your brain's stuck, spinning in circles. A friend texts, "Need a hand?" You type back, "Nah, I got this." But you don't. You're drowning. And you know it. Why is it so hard to say, "Yeah, I could use some help"? Because it feels like weakness. Like you're failing at being strong. I've been there. A couple years ago, I was freelancing, building a portfolio. Everything was riding on this one client. I was in over my head, but I didn't want to admit it. I told myself, I don't need help. Kept grinning alone. Burned out. Missed the deadline. Lost the gig. The Stoics knew this trap. They said, no one's an island. We are built to lean on each other, to grow together. Even the strongest men, they don't stand alone. Think about Lincoln. Led a nation through war. Carried impossible weight. But he didn't do it solo. He leaned on advisors, rivals, friends. Not because he was weak, because he was wise. I learned this the hard way. After that freelance mess, I started asking for help. Not big asks, just small ones. A second pair of eyes on a draft. A quick call to talk through a block. It didn't make me less. It made me better. An intelligent man knows. Asking for help isn't giving up. It's leveling up. It's saying, I respect myself enough to grow. So next time you're stuck, and that pride whispers, you got this? Pause. What if you reached out? What if you let someone in? You might find you're stronger together. 5. I'm too old for that. You're scrolling X, see some guy your age. He's learning code, or starting a podcast, or hitting the gym. Your first thought? I'm too old for that. It's quiet, but heavy, like a door closing. You're not even 35, but you feel like time's already run out. I knew a guy, Chris, mid-30s, stuck in a desk job. He wanted to pivot, try graphic design, but every time it came up, he'd shrug. Too old for that now. He wasn't joking. He believed it. And that belief, it kept him small. The Stoics didn't buy this. They said the soul doesn't age. As long as you're breathing, you've got purpose. Look at Harry Bernstein. 93, wrote his first book. A memoir that touched the world. He didn't say, I'm too old. He said, I've got something to say. And he said it. I felt that way too. Thought I'd missed my shot at something new. Then I started small. Took a course. Tried a hobby. It wasn't about being the best. It was about being alive. An intelligent man doesn't close doors. He asks, what can I start today? Not to prove anything, but to keep growing. So, when you catch yourself thinking, I'm too old, flip it. What's one thing you could try? Just because you're still here. You're not done. You're just beginning. 6. I'll do it later. You're on your couch, phone in hand. A text from a friend you haven't seen in months. You want to reply, set up a coffee, catch up. But you think, I'll do it later. Work's crazy. Life's heavy. There's always tomorrow. Right? Until there isn't. I had a buddy, Sam. Always talking about visiting his dad. They weren't close, but he wanted to fix that. Later, he'd say. When things slow down. Then his dad got sick, and later was gone. Sam didn't cry when he told me, but his voice, it carried regret. The Stoics were brutal about this. They said time's not yours to keep. You don't get to decide later. You only get now. I've put things off too. Calls I didn't make. Words I didn't say. Every time I waited, I lost something. Not just time, but chances. An intelligent man doesn't wait. He acts. Not because it's easy, but because it's true. That call you've been delaying, that project you've pushed back, what if you did it today? Not all of it. Just one step, one message, one move. You'd be surprised how much lighter you feel when later becomes now. 7. That's just how I am. You snap at your partner. Again. They call you out. You shrug. That's just how I am. It feels like a fact. Like you're wired this way, and that's that. But deep down, you know it's not true. It's just easier. I used to do this. I'd get short with people, especially when stressed. When someone pointed it out, I'd say, that's me. Deal with it. But it wasn't me. It was a habit. One I could change if I stopped hiding. The Stoics were clear. You're not a statue, carved and done. You're a choice. Every day, every moment. Saying, that's just how I am, it's like locking yourself in a box. You're not protecting yourself. You're limiting yourself. I started small. Caught myself before snapping. Took a breath. Chose different words. It wasn't magic. It was work. But it made me better, freer. An intelligent man doesn't say, this is me. He says, this is who I'm becoming. Not to be perfect, but to be honest. So, next time you want to shrug and say, that's just me, pause. What if you chose something else? Just for today. Who could you be? You're back in that car. The world's still buzzing. Notifications piling up. But something's different. Your mind, it's a little quieter. Not fixed. Not perfect. Just calmer. Tomorrow, the noise will start again. The emails, the deadlines, the thoughts that pull you in circles. But you don't have to follow. You can choose what not to say, what not to chase. If this helps you pause, pass it to someone who needs it, or just come back tomorrow. This is Stoic Simple, a moment to breathe in a world that never stops.